On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out if X-Men 97 sticks the landing. If the single episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series called Neogenic Nightmare Chapter 12, Ravages of Time, sticks the landing. And if Dead Boy Detectives ended. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show. Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Superhero Show, the only podcast that covers every TV show based on a comic book of quality. Now we have standards. I am your host, Mike Gravano, for this week, and with me is my one, my only, Ryan.
Oh, I thought you said you had standards.
Well, that's why I've gotten rid of all the other Ryans.
It's a sick burn to me about how I'm not good enough to be on this show. But that's not true at all, Mike. Thank you so much for having me.
I was trying a new thing, and being nice to you, but fuck it. Why? Why would I do that? Why would I try?
I thought you were trying a new thing of just sitting there and staring at me after I say something.
Blink,
Mike.
Blink, blink. We'll add in sound effects later.
Fucking Trump in court over here, just falling asleep.
Shit in my pants.
If he does it, then
if
the president shits his pants, then it's not against the law.
That's true. That's why we broke off from England, because they didn't let the king get away from enough things, if I remember my history. And that's why presidents have so much leeway and can do so much.
I mean, it's just the cycle of life, dude. What's it been, 250 years, and now it's time to go back the other way.
Blow it up and start again. Metaphorically speaking, FBI, because I know you listen to every podcast out there.
Every podcast that covers some of the shows based on comic books.
Quality shows based on comic books. According to you listeners, let's just say they're the ones who choose, but we're the ones who choose still.
Wait, yeah, they voted for us to cover X-Men, but not Dead Boy Detectives. I don't know why they voted for that, but they did.
They did. And if you want your Dead Boy Detectives coverage, I feel for you. And that's why I'm going to send you later at the end of the show to our friends at TV Podcast Industries. That's a little tease. But tonight, what we are talking about...
If the show was called Good Boy Detectives and it was fucking dogs as detectives, which there is no law against, then we would obviously be covering it.
Yeah, we would cover the shit out of that. But we're not. Instead, we're covering Spider-Man, the Animated Series, and before that, the season finale of X-Men 97. In the season finale of X-Men 97, we say how a young Charles and Eric met, which turns out to be a tactic of Xavier to stop Magneto and convince him to help stop Bastion. Meanwhile, Bastion's launching his Prime Sentinels to attack the world and beats Cable with his own arm before making armor out of it. Everything ends with Magneto saving the Earth after President Kelly bombed Asteroid M out of the sky, blowing up everybody inside. And then Bishop introduces himself to Forge, saying they have to find the X-Men, who've been lost across time. Taster Ryan, I ask you this, as tradition dictates, did X-Men 97 Season 1 stick the landing?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me this. Yes.
Well, I think that's all we have to talk about then.
Spider-Man?
In Spider-Man. In all the variations of young Charles and young Magneto meeting, how does this one stack up?
Well, first of all, thank you, animators, and really all designers of these two characters, for taking a bald man and a gray-headed man, putting them way back in the past, and then saying, should we do bald and gray hair? Yeah, of course. Like, this is just what they look like.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have known if they threw an animated toupee on Charles and animated, what is it, just for men? What is men's hair coloring called? Is there a go-to?
Eric, my name is Charles Xavier. I have hair. I know I have a face that says it shouldn't, but I have hair right now, and later on I won't, Eric. You're Eric. Well, first of all, let's start off from the very first second. How do we know we're in the past, Mike? The Birds turn comes on. And I expected Fred Savage to be standing there, Kevin Arnold's voice in his head. It's just that's the song. If you're hearing turn, then it's adjacent to war. If you're hearing Creedence Clearwater Revival, you're in the war.
Oh shit. And if you're hearing, is it Alice in Chains Rooster? You're in a modern retelling of the war, and it's not great.
What is this a reference to?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
My brain right now. I thought you were going to say you really seemed like you were loaded. It's interesting that they went with Birds Turn because this is about 30 years before that song comes out, yes?
Well, I think that with all things history related in comic books, Punisher, Frank Castle fought in Nam, and and Tony Stark was like brought down in World War II.
Nam and Moon Knight fought in Nam. And
and Captain America was brought down in World War I. You just keep moving the wars up. And so at this point, put on, a soldier in a Civil War uniform and play Alice in Chains Rooster. Like that stuff doesn't matter anymore. As far as the conversation goes, sort of saw it coming because we need to fucking relax a little bit. And this plot line does not, it gets crazy later. It certainly does not relax the whole time. But to just have some drinks with our friends in a bar, I think was necessary for a good chunk of this episode.
And a good chunk of this episode, which is Charles in the past. And I think it's one of the times where instead of them just telling us that they used to be friends and they aren't anymore, but they still respect and love each other, it was nice to see that forming. Like, even before they both revealed that they are the Big M, there's some, like, friend flirting, maybe not so friendly flirting. Yeah. Before they reveal the you show me yours, you show me mine. It's so funny because they're like, they don't even exist, and if they did, everybody would kill them, but also I am one.
Yeah, and then Magneto's reaction, Chuck's in Magneto's head, and he's like, telepathy. Yeah. I have telepathy, I think, or telekinesis. I think I might be able to move stuff too. And then there's an explosion or distraction, and Magneto's like, oh, cool, I'm metal. And then they just run away.
Run away! And then we reveal that this is Charles making them remember things, and so it's a mix of memory and his normal, like, we're now on the psychic warfare, and the darkness in Magneto is manifesting itself as a flood, filling the little old-timey bar that they've been spending time in.
Which is probably not insured for this. Also, isn't this how God handled his fucking shit?
Just so it's showing people? Magneto is God?
Basically.
And then there's a certain point where he has to, like, hey, bro, we need to turn the Earth's power back on. We see Charles outside of Magneto's head using psychic abilities, and Charles inside Magneto's head using psychic abilities. That's double psychic, Ryan. Hopefully it doesn't cancel each other out.
Well, I mean, that's how he's the team leader, is that he can pat his head and rub his tummy all at the same time.
And make other people do that, too.
God, just for, 2 minutes, man. Just for, 2 minutes, make every person on Earth do that. Is it that hard?
I'm doing it right now, listeners.
Holy shit.
It is glorious.
How long have you been practicing?
All damn day. Just in case you said it. I had to be able to show off. We flash to the folks who've been fighting Bastion, and everybody in this episode knows, like, pause in the fight, let's all chit chat. And they're like, nah, like, your memory's wrong. Charles actually tried to bring you onto the team when you were a kid and take care of you, instead of being like, oh, well, let me rethink things, because why would he? Said, yeah, but then I'd be hanging out with you freaks in the name of peace, tolerance, and equal opportunity suicide.
Hey, bullies got a bully, okay? That's just what bullies do. And, yeah, he was like, oh, yeah, like, I need you guys as friends. And ultimately, that is what bullies need, is they need love and friendship.
They just need friends.
They can't get it because of them, because they suck.
As my pal Elvis Costello once said, you just need peace, love, and understanding. And what's so funny about that?
It's not funny. Yep. That's what I'll say. It's not a comedic thing.
Going along the lines of great storm moments is Jean had gotten her ass beat and some people thought she was dead. She comes back as the Phoenix, and Storm basically legit points and laughs at Bastion. Like, you dumb son of a bitch. We know none of us could handle her like this, and now look what you woke up.
I mean, are they a little bit scared that they have to deal with the Phoenix again? I don't know. One thing at a time, right? Like, let's have Phoenix
that is
handle
like
Bastion.
3 problems away.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't talk about all of the cameos in this because as the zombies and everybody's getting attacked in New York, we get to see some of our friends, like Peter and MJ watching the news through the TV window.
It's very like Christmas Story. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Christmas movie of even older than this, of everybody stopping to watch a wall of TVs in a store from the street.
I don't know.
Even
who did
Flash
it first,
Thompson
man,
is behind them.
Yeah, Flash is there too. What I think happens, based on what I've seen in movies, is that when something crazy happens, every storefront, no matter what you are, is required to put 9 TVs in a pyramid out on the window. Mm-hmm. So it's not that they're there always or just in TV shows. It's every store when something happens.
And that's as a passerby. That's how you know something's up that you need to pay attention to, because the pyramid of TVs is coming out.
Right. We also see Daredevil, Kick-Ass, and Cloak and Dagger not do shit. Way to not do anything, yeah. Cloak and Dagger.
They appear and then get their ass beat, but they do stand up at the same time as Daredevil, acting like they had been doing the same amount of work.
Right.
And then we see these fucking narc cops just hanging out in the war room with President Kelly doing dick all. Iron Man and Cap are just pulling each other's puds. Ooh, fuck you, cops.
I think based on the 2 appearances that he's had, this show has taken a different approach, maybe a more accurate approach to the person Captain America is, if you think about his name and what he would actually be doing. Does it ever baffle you? And I know we're fucking 15 years into this shit, and none of it should baffle me. There's a Rocket Raccoon was a movie star. Like, none of it should baffle me. But somebody, and we grew up with this, so it makes sense to us. But for mainstream people to be like, oh, this character's called Captain America? Sure, I'll go watch him in every movie. Captain America?
It's all silly, but I think the only way he flies is that he's from the 40s. Because that's the only time such tomfoolery and cheese-dickery was allowed.
I think that's what they figured out with the Fantastic Four, is that modern updates of this do not work. We have to put them in the past. But yeah, I think that the show took this approach of he is like Superman from Superman from Dark Knight Returns. He's just a fucking government lackey bitch.
But he's worse, I think, than a GLB, because he will speak up and be like, I don't know. And then when his first cameo with Rogue, he's like, I get it from your side, but can't do anything. And now he's like, I don't know, President Kelly. But, okay, leave. Do something then, you feckless twerp.
I think the difference between the 2 Caps is that the one that we know more about because of movies, and the one that we have to like because he's a big movie star, is the one whose moral compass is impeccable and he always knows right from wrong. And then there's this other Captain America who knows the law is right. Like, period. That's what we do, is what the law tells us to do.
And my issue with that take on Cap, and I think a lot of people, I guess, pre-MCU thought of Cap like that, is, that's what John Walker is for. That's what U.S. Agent is for. Real Cap and comics Cap is almost always 616 Cap. Or whatever they call the movies now.
616. They changed it to 616.
19999. Come on, Kev.
Yeah, I think the problem with that, the Cap conundrum, is that the way that he is in the movies makes liberals root for Captain America and makes conservatives storm the Capitol and say, we're being Captain America, which is fun.
Where's your Captain America now? And Iron Man, to nobody's surprise, is always just a military tool bag.
Yeah.
So when Phoenix shows up, not only does Storm point and laugh, is she goes to Sinister and rips all of his stolen mutations out of him and makes him finally look. She Dorian Grays his shit. She shows him the picture of real Sinister, and he melts. But there's no reflection, so he's like, morph, my boy.
I know.
What do I look like, please?
I know it's not time for Moment of the Weeks, but yeah, to use Morph as a mirror and Morph to be, oh, hell yeah, I'll show you what your ugly ass looks like. does a perfect imitation as Morph does, and then it's the noise that Mr. Sinister makes. He sees Morph's sinister face, and he runs away going, "Oh no!"
And Morph they have a badass line. They go, "Looks the same to me. You were never pretty, you sharp-teeth bastard."
Yeah, dude. Don't file your teeth if you want to be attractive. But if I'm getting this straight, Mike, Sinister preys on the DNA of young mutants, just like the people that are younger in his... Is he a Hollywood Democrat?
He might be the Hollywoodiest of Democrat, or a P.
Is this
Diddy,
Hillary
if
Clinton?
you will. He is a bit of a war hawk.
That's a cool mutant name.
Fuck, that is a cool mutant name. Who else goes nuts? Rogue wails on Bastion. His name was Gambit. Remember it. It's hard to not just shout out all the things that could be moments of the week.
I mean, outside of the Chuck and Magneto thing, this is just kind of one final third act battle.
Yeah.
But yeah, her beating on him and wailing on him, it felt good. Like, I loved watching it. But ultimately, it does nothing. He gets up after taking all of that battle damage and then just starts to choke her.
Well, because this is after he has ripped Cable's arm off, beaten him with it, which is my favorite move, and then stolen the metal to wrap around himself. So now he's like super duper double trouble Archangel. Is basically
Bastion.
what he looks like. Arc Bastion. And yeah, his teeth are showing. Like, she beats the fuck out of him, but he's like, nah, I can. Like Chumbawamba said, which was also around this time, you knock me down and get up again. You're never going to keep me down.
I believe he said to Rogue, do you see, Rogue, when you never tell the audience what your powers are, you have all of the powers.
Yeah, and then it's self-healing. He has the forever tentacles that just leave his body. It's like, how does that all fit? How does that all fit in one guy?
He can rub his head and pat his tummy with his legs.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Go to Cirque du Soleil, man. I don't love, and this is so comic booky, and we've talked about versions of this where the world is imploding, right? Asteroid M, they're all on it now. It's plummeting towards Earth. And then Cyclops is like, no. Yeah, maybe you should just, like, join us. And he's like, but I try to kill everybody. He's like, yeah, that's fine. This is what we do, right, guys? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess we're X-Men. This is what we do. I would re-team up with Magneto at that point.
It does get to Rogue. So we get to see her reaction of this Gambit killer being asked to be on the team, and she's like, "What? Cyclops? Okay, let's do it. Red Rover, send a Bastion on over."
And Bastion basically flies into space and kills himself. In my headcanon, Cyclops knew. He's such a good tactician. He knew being nice would drive him nuts.
And then Cyclops also does the thing that all leaders have to do in all sci-fi stories, which is everybody leave safely. I will sacrifice myself and blast the shit out of this place.
Which looks great. But then they don't have time to leave. It blows up because President Kelly is like, that thing's just floating here. It's not plummeting yet. He's like, I should probably shoot it before it shoots me, which is exactly what makes Asteroid M plummet towards the Earth.
Yep.
And
you did it, Kelly.
But then it explodes, and they all die, maybe, until 6 months later. What's happening, Ryan?
6 months later, the team is split. We have, and what incredible landings that they chose to land in, or someone chose for them. Whether that's the writers or whether there's a outside hand that put them where they landed, we don't know yet. But Jean and Scott land 3,000 years in the future, or 1,000 years in the future.
Yes.
And a little boy walks out, and he's like, "Hello, I'm Nate." Which you might remember, Mike, is the name of their son.
What?
Yeah.
And then everybody else is in a sandy area 2,000 years previously, and they see a bunch of people teaming up on one badass-looking mutant, and his name is Eben Nasser.
Nasser. Yeah, he's looks like a human until he takes off his mask, and he's got Apocalypse.
Oh, that's why that's his name.
Yeah, he's got a pock of lips, like.
And then in modern times, Forge is staring at a giant, awesome board of like, all right, I got to make the X-Men. Presumed dead, don't know them, presumed dead, missing in
Don't know
time.
them.
And then
Hasn't been introduced in the cartoon yet. This is
so
for
many
season
cool
2.
cameo just on that wall. And then Bishop rolls in and they do the like, are we going to have to fight? And they're like, I don't know. We're like 2 of the few people of color who've been on the X-Men. Maybe we should bond. And Bishop's like, look, this isn't my first time at the X-Men are dead rodeo. They're not. Let's go fix this shit.
Did Bishop always have that Texas accent? Or did they just add that because they saw him wearing a big red bandana?
It's they're like, look, we can't do the guitar we used to do. We lost the rights from the 90s cartoon when he'd walk on scene, so let's just give him the accent, which does the same thing.
I guess it does the same thing.
Ryan, what is your moment of the week?
Sinister going, when he sees his ugly face. I do that when I see my ugly face, but I'm making a different noise.
And it's
Yeah.
Mine that rivals that, because that one was awesome, and let's get him his comeuppance. Why this show rules is it also hits the character moments, and Cable finally bonding with deadbeat dad and You're Not My Mom Jean. He's like, all I heard was legends about my parents growing up, and he's saying it in that tone like, and I hate that. And he's like, they didn't do my parents justice, and like wipe tears from each other's eyes. And I was like, fuck you, show. You still got it.
As you wipe tears from yours, when Cable, I think Cable says, I was told I have my father's eyes, or Jean tells Cable, you have your father's eyes. I thought Cable was going to be like, no. Does that mean red shit's going to shoot out of them all the time? That'd be fucking awful.
Or awesome, because he wants to be a living weapon. Ryan, X-Men 97 is gone for an indeterminate amount of time, but we know it shall return.
Yeah, I mean...
did you see the credit scene?
Yes. I read about it.
I did not. Yeah, I heard there was one, and all week went, well, I got to go back and watch that. But then I read what it was. I was like, I don't need to watch that.
I read about it, so I did go back and watch, which, let me tell you, on an iPad with the Disney Plus app is not easy to do. That app sucks. But yeah, so it's the apocalypse that we know and love in modern-day Genosha. And it's actually done pretty well. He's like, oh, so much pain. And then he picks up a playing card and says, so much. And it cuts right to his mouth. Death. So
nice.
I feel like we can pick up on what Apocalypse is picking up.
Okay. I will go back and watch that, because I heard it's just zoom in on a playing card. And I was like, well, I don't need that. But that sounds dope.
No. Should we tell people what that means, or let them wait?
Yeah, I guess in the comics, Gambit, at some point, because everybody has their stint, everybody does their time in the trenches of Apocalypse's 4 Horsemen, and he did his time as Death. And so Gambit's coming back, but not the one you miss.
Yeah, it's like Pet Cemetery Gambit, essentially, is coming.
Mm-hmm. Ryan, we are out of time to talk about X-Men, but we always, of course, have time to talk about your phenomenal ideas. And you were saying before we started recording about a new website.
I do have a new website. It is called petcemetery.com. Now, it's PETC Cemetery, so it's spelled correctly. If you see it spelled incorrectly, that's not affiliated with us. Basically, you send us your beloved pet, and we will bring them back to you. The problem is that we can't do it after they're dead. So you have to send us your live pet. We'll kill them and then bring them back for you.
So it can't be pre-dead. It needs to be dead within a certain amount of time. So would you recommend my pet is sickly?
Yes,
I have an iguana who's
time.
on his deathbed. Put some stamps on it. Put it right in a mailbox. Have it get to you.
Yes, that's when you do it. The other thing, too, is that if you want it to, you don't want us to kill it, then just pack it very poorly, and the mail will most likely do the job. There are some things that are weird about the company that I just have to say right now. Sometimes when dogs or any pet gets brought back from the dead, they will return with maybe spots that they didn't have before, different fur colors, maybe even look like a different species. That is just part of the process here at petcemetery.com.
It's just the magic of science. That's
right.
Wild.
Sometimes you send in your live fish. We send you back a we bring the fish back, we kill it, we bring it back, and we send you back what happens, and it was an ostrich. That's just something that you're going to have to deal with now.
Wow. Evolution is truly an amazing thing. And I need this to exist. I think people should not have to come to terms with the one thing we all know is going to happen in life. And the reason you buy your kids pets was just to teach them about death. Let's not deal with that ever again. So go to petcemetery.com. This needs to be real, and I need it to be successful. So I'm going to send you to my friends at cybersprout.net because you're working on your mad science. You can't also be worried about digital strategy or elegant design. And they do, and they combine the two masterfully, just like you combine dark magic and darker science to do what you do. That's what they do. They have drag and drop tools, just like you drag the corpses and drop them into whatever the vat is that rejuvenates them. Custom templates, easy to edit fields. I've lost the thread of one-to-one things of what you do and what they do. But
you kept it up for a long time, so I'm impressed.
Thank you. Cybersprout.net is going to help you. They are your partner for the digital satanic world. We're going to take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, Spider-Man. Welcome to S-TAS-Mini, bitch, a mini show within a show where we dive into the seminal and underrated after-school cartoon of the mid-90s, Spider-Man, the animated series. This week in Neogenic Nightmare Chapter 12? We start right where we left off, with Tombstone reiterating, in case Spider-Man didn't hear him the first time, that he doesn't need to breathe. And so he's not worried about the purple poisonous smoke filling the room right now.
I mean, you're still going to get stinky, though. It's going to get on your clothes. Your clothes aren't made of Tombstone.
And you rock the same outfit every day.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to go to the laundromat, I guess, the dry cleaners. Because you can't throw that giant, like, triple the length of a normal popped collar. You can't throw that into your household washing machine.
I mean, you can if you want to ruin it immediately. When people say,
exactly.
what do you want on your tombstone? I say, the same outfit every day.
And they go, okay.
Can I move seats with somebody?
You're the one to start talking about Tombstone pizza, you freak. He gets out, but then so does everybody else. Elisa and Tombstone, we catch up. They're on the phone, and then she's waiting for Peter. He's doing his normal Peter thing and standing her up, but we find out she never liked him. He was just her alibi, so the cops wouldn't know she was involved in what's going on.
What?
These
fucking Silvermangs.
Hammerhead... Silvermangs. Hammerhead shows up at this diner. I don't know how he knows where Alicia is. He goes there to kidnap her, and Spidey intervenes. And in their fight, Spidey's like posted up on a light post, hence the phrase, and Hammerhead runs into it, knocking Spider-Man into a hole, and then Hammerhead pours cement all over Spidey.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough one.
I liked this a lot.
Do you know what I just realized? The name of the character that you're discussing is Elisa Silvermane. Is this a play on an actress that was very popular at about this time?
Joni Silvermane.
Joni
Probably.
Mitchell. Because I don't know if she exists in the comics, but if she did, I know this is not her name because Silvermane is his like villain name. He has a last name. When you become a villain and you take on a supervillain name, does that become your children's last name?
I think so. So if Hammerhead has a kid, her name would be Brittany Head.
Okay. Not Brittany Hammerhead.
No, well, his first name is Hammer.
I see. And please don't hurt him. Hammerhead.
Please don't hurt him, Hammerhead. We cut to Kingpin, and he's like, Silvermane has my wife because he got mailed a lock of hair. And Smythe, as always, like, maybe we could use the Mega Slayer I built. But now these old men are just trading locks of lady hair in the mail. Yes. It's disgusting.
It's getting really weird between the two of them. And also, Smythe, like, new ideas. Like, Kingpin will say, like, should we order a pizza? And then Smythe's like, I'll use the big robot to order a pizza. Like, that fucks up the phone, you idiot.
Yeah, what? It will talk like this. No, we need that human connection. You need to talk to that stoned teenager to make sure your order's getting right.
That stoned order is, asking you what you want on your pizza as if he worked for Tombstone. There we go.
Olympic landing. 10 out of 10. No wobble.
On this episode of the Superhero Show, does Ryan stick the landing of any single sentence he starts?
No. Tombstone has captured Connors, and they've built a full replica of the temple that they found the Tablet of Time in. Silvermane just has a warehouse filled with that, and he's like, nah, you can do it, Connors. Figure it out. And Connors, he's like, I don't want to be kidnapped. You have my wife in another room. Didn't ask if I could see her if she's okay. It's time to do some science shit. He looks pretty excited.
Well, they probably gave her a lock of her hair. I get why you need like the solar thing to make the template work, but building the entire pyramid around that solar thing, was that super necessary? Is Silvermane the Nathan Fielder of the Spider-Man universe, just building bars and warehouses?
He is Nathan Fielder. I was going to say Doc Brown, but this is to scale, and it is painted.
It's painted.
So he is better than Doc Brown.
What that piece of shit Doc Brown didn't even paint his model.
Silvermane, I guess I didn't realize how old he was, because the last time he saw me kind of like shimmy down a chimney and ran away cackling.
He did the chimney.
He nearly collapses when he finds out Hammerhead took Alicia. And Tombstone like grabs him from behind, like a Heimlich maneuver or a lover's embrace to stop this old man from falling to the ground.
Also, maybe I wasn't paying as much attention, but it feels like his voice is getting older. Like he has the most cartoonishly like old man prospector voice.
Why is he suddenly from the old West?
Spider-Man, I'll get you.
Where's my gold pan? Spider-Man, meanwhile, has bailed. He has rescued none of the people he vowed to rescue. He didn't track down anybody. So
you
he
sound like
goes
you're
home
running
to
for
Queens.
Spider-Man against him. He has saved none of the people he promised.
And that's why I, Ben Reilly, deserve to be the one true Spider-Man. Plus this sweet sleeveless hoodie. Pete is at home and testing things out on a nonstick frying pan because he's like, I know I'm going to see the Mega Slayer again, and it's so slippery these days. So I'm going to test on the slipperiest metal I know, Aunt May's nonstick frying pan.
And then to hold it up to the camera and say only $19.95 at Kmart.
Yeah. What's up, QVC? Silvermane calls up Kingpin, and he's like, we should set up a meeting to exchange our ladies. And Kingpin, before he can answer, Silvermane hangs up. What the? You need to exchange the details of the meeting. He's so old. He's so old. I don't know what's happening here, but the camera lingers on Smythe's robot's ass when it's doing something for some.
Also, I love, this has been around all season, but I fucking love the look on Smythe's face as he's at home attacking Spider-Man with the robot. Just looks like the pompous gamer smirk. Just like, oh, I'm going to beat you at Madden so hard.
As he's laying like vertical down, just triple chinning it just because of the angle he's laying on. Do you know what happens to Smythe in the next season?
No.
Okay, then I'm not going to say anything. But like, just so you know, this guy is not going away. And I had forgotten about him and forgotten what a big deal is. As a kid, I definitely thought he was probably Spider-Man's main villain because he just jumps from henchmen, or he like henches for just different guys.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and he hates Spider-Man so much.
That's sort of like a Gen Z thing, younger millennial, is like you can't stay at the same job for like more than 3 years if you're not getting the raises that you want. Smythe, you have to go hench somewhere else.
You got it. Oh, you want that 15% jump? Hench somewhere else. They meet in the alley, and both Kingpin and Smythe decide to double cross each other. All their guys come out, they're shooting. The ladies are like, what happens to me? Tombstone's guy just pulls out a rocket launcher. Yes. That is scorched earth. You're in a tiny alleyway, man. That is going to damage a lot of shit right now.
He goes to the back seat where his bazooka was just laying there and shoots a helicopter.
Kingpin and Smythe are watching via the Mega Slayer, and Kingpin is shaking Smythe in his chair, grabbing his arms and like face and saying, do something. And Smythe, who is only getting sassier, is like, I can't. You're grabbing me. How can I do anything? Let me use my arms.
Which is definitely something that if you were to say that to Wilson Fisk, it will calm the situation. Like that would end
he's
all of the
definitely gonna
tension.
calm down. We cut back to the alleyway. Connors grabs a laser and just shoots the Spider Slayer's arm off, which is badass. Just this one-armed scientist with ripped purple pants. It's just like, nah, I don't need a lizard out for this. This robot sucks.
And does to him what has been done to him, which is take the arm off, right? Like he wants everyone to be equal, so he rips his arm off. What is it about?
I know everybody's weakness.
I understand that there are people out there with one arm. But what is it about one arm and bare feet jumping around like that? What is so fucking funny about that?
I want to say this sensitively.
And
empathetically, tying shoes is hard, and Velcro, you look like a dipshit.
What about some flippy flops?
Well, you gotta have. Well, he probably had lizarded out at some point, and the lizard kicked those flippy flops so hard they're still sailing.
He can only afford those ones that you get after you get a pedicure.
Mm-hmm. Those are so thin. I was rocking those like 2 days ago, and felt every rock. It hurt.
Yeah, that's like having 4 spare tires on your car, Mike. Those aren't shoes that you should be wearing for very long.
There's a very 90s CGI helicopter chase. Hammerhead has stolen Alicia back, and Spider-Man is tracking him down. He gets there, and then she just pulls out a gun after he knocks Hammerhead out of the way and tranks Spider-Man. So now I think Pete might finally have learned not to trust her. We'll see. He's not the smartest man.
He can fix her.
He can probably fix her. Vanessa, who did get rescued, is back with Wilson. And then she's like, I'm never going to go through that nightmare ever again. And he's like, you're right. Not sensing the tone that me as an adult and even 8-year-old me definitely understood what her future scene in this episode was going to lead to.
The problem is that her name is Vanessa Kingpin, and that's going to be hard to get like jobs and stuff if she leaves him. Or I'm sorry, is her name Vanessa Pin? Because Kingpin's first name is
Vanessa
King.
Pin.
It's Vanessa Pin. Okay.
Yeah, because his biblical name is Wilson Fisk, and he is Kingpin, so she's Vanessa Pin. Smythe finds the tracker on the Mega Slayer. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of the stupid big robot.
It's just the name of the greatest metal band of all time.
We are Metal Slayer, not confused with those pussies. Regular Slayer. Smythe has a great monologue. He's like, we can reverse it and find Spider-Man and the tablet and Connors as well. Like, he just keeps listing off all the fucking things that he's gonna. Okay, bro, just calm down and do it. Like, well, he just doesn't want to hear any of your bullshit.
He looked at the runtime of the episode at that point and he was like, yeah, this can do all of it. Let's get it all done.
I don't know where any of them are, but they're all together. I know that. Tombstone is about to unmask Spider-Man, who is now like metal tied to a wall, which next to the big temple.
By the way, like that, he's being held up by like those arms, and one of the arms is shot, so he breaks free, and then another metal arm comes out of the wall to grab him again. What is this technology?
Yeah. That wall is creepy. Somebody saw Doc Ock and went, I could fill a wall with those. But Tombstone is about to unmask Spidey, and Alicia's like, no, that's only reserved for my father. It's like, oh, shut
Daddy's
up.
girl. Pin's got a pin.
And this is Spider-Man. He wakes up. Maine's got a mane.
Maine's got a mane.
And
Wait, her name is Alicia Silvermane, disproving your whole theory.
No, you're wrong. Impossible to argue back against, isn't it?
It's true.
Silvermane shows up and he's like, we're going to go through the whole ritual, does some light appropriation culturally and puts on like a poncho of the culture that built this temple. I don't know if this is part of it at all, man. You don't need to do this.
And did he say that they built this temple out of rock and roll?
Yeah. Which is just like Paradise City? No, what song is that?
We built the city out of rock and roll. That's the name of the song. Like, I can't get any more clear than that. There's really no other way to like title the song. Like, if there's nothing even in parentheses, like that's the fucking name of the song. I don't know.
And that's not the same song as "Take Me Down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty."
I was wrong. It is. It totally is.
Roll.
So basically, Silvermane is like dressed in his Silvermane goes to Coachella outfit, is what you're saying.
Yes. He's just a basic white chick. Spider-Man finally puts together stuff from season 1. Oh, this Silvermane. That's the Kai arrest sheet.
This chimneyer.
Connors tries to warn them. He's like, it's not ready yet. But even though they kept trying to kidnap him because he's the only one who could figure it out, they went, shut up, scientist. Just like all bad guys in this show eventually do.
And in real life.
Lock him back up. And in... the Mega Slayer rolls in. People are escaping. Silverman has unlimited. This is where we learn about the unlimited wall tentacles. And then Silverman, they're walking up, and just if you weren't uncomfortable by his poncho, he's like, just like the ancient shamans used to do, now I will do. It's just like, it's shaman. Fuck you.
Dude, you know for a fact that all old races know how to say this shit, and they purposely say it wrong. What is that? One of those blick people? It's black, Grandpa. He's a black person.
Oh, I didn't know if we were allowed to say that. It changes what we're allowed to call them. Okay.
But it was never blick, you old idiot.
He gets the quadruple lasers. He grows younger and taller.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like how his daughter looks at him then.
Yeah, dude. She gets a little bit horned up.
And he's like, this is how I was before you were born. Kind of blaming her for all of his liver spots. Lizard, Connors, who's freaking out. Now when he freaks out, Lizard's out. So he does that and breaks through and stops Spider-Man's unmasking. And then Silverman starts to get even younger. And he's like a dinky 12-year-old whining. And then he becomes a baby.
And we don't see this on screen, obviously. But when it cuts away, somebody just comes over and fucking kills that baby, right?
Just kick that baby's head right off. No, Alicia picks him up. And then she says, we'll kill them all for what they've done to my father. Hey, lady. Maybe you should have listened to everybody in this room, including Tombstone, the man who doesn't need to breathe. Maybe this is not the way to go about things.
Everything they've done to my father, who holds no responsibility for any of this whatsoever.
How could he? He has all the money. He's blameless.
And he's a baby. What could a baby have done?
He's just a baby. When you yell at Silvermane, this is who you're yelling at. And she holds him up as a baby. Lasers are now going ham because they exploded things, so they've released from the temple. One hits the lizard. Spider-Man rescues him and his wife. They get free. We cut back to what's been going on over at the Pins household. Now, Vanessa has her bags are packed and she's ready to go. And he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, it won't happen again. She's like, bro, there's going to be another threat and then another. And as long as you have to cling to your precious power and he is hurt. And she's basically like, me or crime right now. And he's like, but I love crime. And she walks out on his ass.
Mia Crime, also a good villain name. He sits down in his chair and he thinks, and he gets very sad.
Yeah, Hammerhead, who has dragged the giant tablet through the city, shows up with it, and he says, get rid of it. The sight of it sickens me. So,
bro,
Hammerhead...
do you know what it fucking...
sells it to some other random old guy.
Yeah, I thought Professor X. Was that Professor X?
He was bald.
Okay,
but
so
the way
definitely...
the way he pets it lovingly, I've only seen Professor X pet pictures of 15-year-old Marvel girl as lovingly, so I don't think this was that.
It's obviously somebody, though, right? Like, the way that it's shot, I don't think it was just a random rich person.
No, if you saw the thumbnails for the next 2 episodes, which close out the season, then you probably have a guess. Or there's been a name planted throughout this season, somebody who might be funding Doc Connors. The Tombs Foundation is a coming to town, Ryan.
Oh, the Vulture's bald too? There's 2 bald people.
There's 2 bald people in this universe. That is this episode. So let's get to awards. Ryan, what is your New York minute?
Spider. Well, first I think it's Tombstone or Hammerhead. I'm sorry, I get them confused. They just jump into
flat tops, man.
I know. They jump into a cement truck, and then Spider-Man pulls them out and drives the cement truck. That's just if like you can't hail a cab in New York, grab a cement truck. Go to where you need.
Grab a cement truck.
Just try to return. It's like those scooters you can rent. Just return it to anywhere. Just turn on your cement truck app and get one.
The original Lime scooter was a cement truck. That's a good one. Mine was Spider-Man's watching the Mega Slayer go into a garage, and he goes, I wonder how much Smythe has to pay to park that thing in this city. New Yorkers are obsessed with parking and how much it costs.
All right, and yours also literally has the character saying this city, so...
But, no, 17 points for you.
Thank you.
14 points for me. Who knows? What is your 90s moment?
90s moment is Spider-Man. Shit, I didn't write down the context, but he swings down and he's like, oh, wow. He mentions Meg Ryan and then mentions Faye Ray. Meg Ryan is very 90s and then goes back to the 30s for some reason because these are all written by 60-year-old dudes.
And then one person's nephew was walking by and he said, you kids are actually into Meg Ryan right now. Mine is yours is great. You get 20 points because mine is I don't know. Silvermane has unlimited wall tentacles. Was that big in the 90s? I don't know.
Way to fucking put the effort in.
Kung Fu grip.
Oh, it's
What's your best
bazooka.
action move? Backseat bazooka does rule.
That's so fucking Tombstone. Just casually have a bazooka or a rocket launcher. I'm sorry, in the backseat of your car.
I would watch a spinoff. I didn't know how comfortable I was with him when he first showed up, but I would now watch a whole spinoff about Tombstone and his backseat bazookas.
Isn't that funny that this voice that makes you uncomfortable in one episode, just one episode later, you're like, it's fine.
I got used to it.
Yeah.
Mine is, talked about it earlier, Hammerhead knocks Spider-Man into that hole and starts pouring the cement. These flat tops, man, they're doing it for themselves.
Yeah,
I love, what's around me? Cement.
Why don't the flat tops get together and start some crime?
I know. They're both mistreated by the people who rule them. They could do crime and have sweet 4-part harmonies if they find 2 more flat tops.
There you go. The flat tops.
The flat tops. Web zinger.
This was a rough one for me. At some point, Spider-Man says, oh, there's the anchor. Anchor's away. It's like, you don't have to talk all the time, Spider-Man. Like, I don't even know what you're referencing.
You shut your fucking mouth.
That's a musical. That's the name of a musical. It also might be something that people actually say on boats. Anchors away. I don't know. I don't know if it's AWAY or if it's acres away, like WEIGH. But anyway, Spider-Man, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, anchors. Away them right now. I thought he was talking about Bouncing Souls later in their career album, Anchors Away, from the mid-2000s. It's pretty good and underrated, Ryan.
Okay. I'm going to go to the store and buy it right now.
You should. Mine is, there he goes. It's Vanessa saying, just cling to your precious power. It's not clever. It's just the amount of venom she had in her voice and not Spider-Man's bad guy venom. I understand. That could get confusing.
And to which Kingpin replied, ouch, good zinger.
Yeah. Zing. Do you have a Cassie compliment?
Of course I do. That's how the show works. Do you not have one, Mike?
I literally never have had one.
This is the infinitieth week in a row. What I put yours? That all Cassie cares about is being the cast pin of this podcast, but we will never leave her. Even if she quits the show, we will be with her at all times. She's not here, but right now. But we will never Vanessa pin you like she did.
We would never do that. You know what mine is just like Tombstone wanted to unmask Spider-Man. Alicia said, no, that's for my father. Anytime anybody wants to open anything in the Pop Filter office, I say, no, that's for Cassie. So you get 40 points.
Thank you.
And that is all the time we have and all the shows we feel like talking about. Ryan, before we get out of here, tell the lovely folks at home about our website or two.
Please go to popfilter.co to get everything you need that is us, and everything you want that is us, and everything you maybe do need but don't want. You can get that too. That is the home of all of our podcasts. While you're there, go to popfilter.co/Amazon, and there's a little linky poo there that you can make your new Amazon link and give us, I think it's thousands of dollars every time you buy something, regardless of what you buy.
And it doesn't cost more for you. You're
Right.
buying your $4 USB whatever.
We get $2,000.
Somehow thousands of dollars are funneled into our. It's because it's decimals. It's divisible. If you see Office Space, they explain it pretty well what's going on. But this one's legal.
Or Superman 3, which is what Office Space watched before it Office Spaced.
Oh, the good Superman movie.
Oh, boy, Mike.
No? Is that not
No, it's
what
not.
everybody thinks?
Is that all the websites?
That is all the websites. If you liked us, but you wished we were smarter and more people were here with us talking about movies, you should check out Movie of the Year. Even though it is us, we are somehow smarter on that show. Right now, we're going through 1984's best movie. And last week, we wrapped up 1984's mixtape, and it's a doozy. And this coming week, we are talking about Ghostbusters with Ryan, our guest. Tell everybody who he was.
It is Connor Kilpatrick from iFanboy, and he was wonderful, and he owns the Ghostbusters soundtrack on vinyl.
Yes, and he showed us, and we fanboyed about him and it.
Would it be weird if we changed our whole thing to We Fanboy?
We fanboy, and we just reviewed their show. That's Movie of the Year. If you want other podcasts and you're like, why aren't these guys talking about the Dead Boy Detectives? As I teased so salaciously at the beginning of the show, you should go over to our friends at TV Podcast Industries. They are talking about a bunch of shows, but including Dead Boy Detectives every week. And they will probably let you know even more definitively whether or not it ended. Ryan, how can people get in touch with us or follow us?
We're on Instagram at Your Pop Filter, and then make sure you head over to Pop Filter Co. on YouTube, where we are putting up all the show's audio on YouTube, and it's getting better and bigger every week. So get in on the ground floor right now, because you don't want that shit to blow up and then be hear people like make fun of you because you weren't in on the ground fucking floor.
Yeah, YouTube. It's going to be big. If you want to reach out to us directly and not through Instagram or YouTube comments, you can reach out, contact@popfilter.co. We will read your email, and if we deem it worthy, may even read it aloud on a show. Next week, we are talking about Chapter 13 of Neogenic Nightmare on Spider-Man the Animated Series, and we'll see if Mike has a Cassie compliment. Probably not for riding a bike for fucking driver. Enough said.